We're back on the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. You know, our guest is TJ Mars, quite a guy. We've talked about it being a Navy officer. He's a duck like myself, so he's got to be a good guy. But we were just talking with Brian, talking about how there was a Redfin and some other big news organizations came out, including when we're talking with IinsureForYou.com. We've talked a lot about insurance being a big factor in moving up. And both of them, they'll tell you that your credit is a huge factor right now for the availability of the credit. You'll see the program, the money's available, but what they're doing is bringing up the credit standards, right? Maybe what was before 640, they might move that line up to maybe 660,
well,
right?
You know what? They actually lowered it. They lowered the bar recently. Okay. Before you had to have a 620, right? They took that away. Now, it doesn't mean that a lender can't have an overlay, but they've removed a lot of these barriers that were there. You know, and
on certain programs, but other ones, and with insurance and things, working on your credit is one of the things that could really behoove you, could really help you with your insurance. You have two different businesses. You've got with the microvc .com, but you also have yourlaw.org. Tell us about that.
Well, it's relative to what you were just talking about. You know, I go back. My background is also in the mortgage lending, real estate industry for years, and I years ago I started UR Law to help people dealing with foreclosures, dealing with credit issues. Because during the foreclosure crisis, a lot of people were really getting burned. And so I started developing a lot of techniques to show people how to improve that situation. You'd be surprised how many, particularly old credit items and things like that, can be challenged and get them removed completely off your credit report. We've had entire credit reports cleaned up. In fact, I had a situation once years and years ago, and I was down there in the almost fives, and within 6 months, I was back in the sevens using the techniques that we teach on our website.
There's techniques. It's a game. So I've done the FICO certification. I took a class on that. You know, the manipulation of the ratios for your free credit and things, but you're talking about ways that people could save some money, actually do a lot of this themselves, and they can find this on your page.
Do it themselves. They can actually delete some of the debt off their credit.
So you help with the letters, the form letters, the instructions. Tell us about that side of yours.
Well, the website, again, it deals with a wide variety of things. We help you deal with traffic tickets to taxes to dealing with debt, bank debt particularly. That's our favorite subject because people don't understand the real nature of it and what you can do contractually to try to get some items off your credit that are there. And if you get a little bit aggressive, be surprised what you can get done to get them to back off. Debt collectors, we eat those for lunch. Yeah,
we're talking with TJ Mars. So the credit, yes, on some programs they've brought it down. I saw with VA they did certain things, but on you really should be working on that. That's one thing that you can actually be doing. Let's go a little bit more with the back with you. Your micro VC. We talked before about alternative ways. If somebody's got a minimum of $33,000, they're an accredited investor. Talk about some of the alternative investments that you can do for somebody in a nutshell.
Oh, okay. Well, the fund is basically we are like we are a hedge fund, technically speaking, which means we look out for a variety of different companies and opportunities. Some of it involves real estate, some of it involves cryptocurrencies, some of it involves upstart companies. We try to select the cream of the crop. We literally screen through hundreds and hundreds of companies to pick the ones we wanted to and be in our fund, and then we offer a nice opportunity for our partner investors to make a much higher than average yield on their funds. And then we're investing heavily into AI technology right now. Obviously, it's the thing right now. But the specific things that you can do with AI is just absolutely mind-blowing right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've went out and selected companies that, for example, can help create prescriptions that are far more accurate than a doctor can do on his own. Now, we're not saying eliminate the doctor. We're saying you enhance the creativity of a human being with AI. If you understand how it really works, that's all you're really doing.
Well, you know how often the one thing I think AI's, I think you're going to make a lot of people are going to make a lot of money in a very short time. And I think a lot of people are going to be broke. I think it's going to be Sarah Connors in a few years. But the one good bright spot, I think, is for our medical. You know how you got to go in, you're sick. You know you're sick. You're not sure what's wrong. Your primary says, I'm going to give you a referral to an ENT or a cardiologist. You got that lag time. It's metastasizing, whatever it is. They're going to be able to put this program into, right now, ChatGPT will not give medical advice, but in the very near future, all these closed systems where a doctor puts in your ailments and different things and starts narrowing it down in a very time-efficient manner where you can get it. You know, how many of us know somebody that, you get a phone call. I got a buddy of mine right over New Year's called me, one of our best friend groups. He's like, he's got stage 4 something, whatever the cancer is, pancreatic cancer or something. He didn't see it. He waited a little too long. And this is where these checkups in AI, that's something it's not a real estate subject, but the one bright spot has to be if we could all live maybe 5 or 10 years longer, see our kids grow up and do those things a little bit more because they can diagnose you, get you the right treatments, the right meds, the right thing. That's got to be a bright spot.
It is a bright spot. I mean, it can look at so many factors that a human being can't review in terms of conflicts in prescriptions and things like that.
Well, there was a deal in Stanford. They did it very recently. I was reading. They had this guy that had been passed around forever, and they put it in ChatGPT. Brian was telling me about this. You can change it from that instant view to the longer, and the reviews in 45 minutes. They found this guy's cure that he'd been passed around, could never do it, solved this guy's thing in 45 minutes, at least the cure. It was able to go, and I think that's only going to do more. That's the one bright spot, I think. You may all be eating out of a soup kitchen, but you're going to live a long time. Would be the.
I think people would deal with a computer more than an actual person. You don't have any stigma.
Well, the doctors, I believe the way it's going to work is the doctors are still going to be there. They're going to be taking that information. There's something called a confirmation bias.
Yes.
If you if you put something in ChatGPT or Google and you don't like the way it is, you rephrase the same question and find the answer you like. So many people do that with legal to get themselves in trouble. They also do it with medicine, right? We put it in, and
it's not
every time it says you got cancer and pneumonia and AIDS and this. So the doctor is going to do it and be able to prescribe and use it to apply the medicine.
Absolutely. It's just simply it's a confirmation as much as anything to just test the broader knowledge that you don't have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to be used that way. It is being used that. That's why these kind of companies we're looking at, we like companies doing these kind of cutting edge things.
So I've been looking at all my numbers. Did pretty well, doing well moving forward. Jim, 71% of all our deals and Logan's and my deals this year are from the Kevin Walsh Show and our time here on the radio, which I'll be on tomorrow. Very grateful for that. And by the way, guys, I got to host the Kevin Walsh Show. We got some big guests on. We got Dr. Jeff Gunter on. We had Marquis Arbach. We had Jared Moser on. We had Ticor Title. It was a real honor. But when I look at that, these are all people that are actually middle class, working people of a certain age group, and that may want to do some of these things themselves. If you've got a little bit of a credit issue, you don't feel like calling an attorney, you feel like you could do it yourself, if you have the right direction, they can actually learn that from you on your site.
I can tell you consistently, the people that go through and actually put their own energy into these types of things get better results than just going to their attorney. Nothing against the attorneys, but the simple fact is that you have your best interest in mind. You are your best advocate. You're going to watch the tiny details. I have a lady that just went through a major criminal case. We actually guided her through the process. She was facing 14 felonies and life in prison, essentially. She got off with no time. I mean, that's how far we take it with some things. And now she's free of the IRS and everything else.
Give us that site again, the UR Law. What is that again?
urlaw.org. 3 words.
Talking with TJ Mars. You want to take a look at his site. It's going to give you some directions. I worked at the law firm and completed a year of law school. You want to be paralegal. If you empower with the actual knowledge, there's a lot I can do. I can take on attorneys. I know my stuff. I've learned it. You can actually empower somebody with this information. It's all public information, but you broke it down to where the layperson that doesn't have that big legal background can actually do it. Maybe you can improve your credit. We're going to come back on a break. I'm going to be talking with Logan and talking with Brian more. We're doing commercial real estate, guys. I was tired of doing it, doing all the education. I'll tell you what I'll do for you in commercial. I want to tell you what Brian, we're going to talk about a specific property, 1920 Maryland Parkway. Brian get you in with 100% down and cover your build-out costs. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We're back. We're talking about a commercial loan we're going to do, and I said it was 100% down. Yes, very good financing. It's actually 100% financing is what I'm going to say.
100% down, everybody qualifies.
Yeah, very low interest with that 100% down. Let me finish up your thought. We were talk about your event this weekend and why you're in town right now.
Okay. Well, there is an event coming up this week. If you want to introduce yourself to me or meet the people that are involved in the fund, and one of our projects involves crypto projects.
Kind of like a Shark Tank, but on a different scale, right?
It kind of is, except this is more of a presentation of one of our many crypto projects we look at. Cryptocurrency is a thing that's really happening these days. And so if you want to just check out how to attend that, you can just go to urlaw.org/gold meet. Gold Meet. That's just a shortcut we created to get you a registration if you want to attend. The information's there on that.
Yeah, I met you at the UNLV game. We started talking. You've got some incredible stuff. I was listening to these numbers. If you're wondering, there are some incredible things that you're available to do. And at the dollar amount, an average person can get involved. You think hedge fund and your eyes gloss over. This is a way of fractional that you can actually get involved with some big things, big payouts.
Yeah.
10 times returns if it goes to market to fruition, but you get paid along the way for the ride. Significantly.
Yeah, we offer a nice 10.5% monthly yield, essentially.
Yeah,
while you're waiting for the fund to mature.
Yeah.
And make additional profits.
Give that site one more time, and we're going to talk about commercial.
It's Micro VC Fund, as in venture capital, microvcfund.com.
Very interesting stuff. I've looked it up. So, Brian, I'm going to throw in Logan and Brian here. So I want to talk about commercial. So I've got the chops. Let me give you my little bit of these chops. I've always done residential. I've done very well, but, worked in the law firm, worked in commercial. I'm a property manager. I've taken care of all these services, and I was like, Brian, why am I giving away all these commercials? So I've jumped through the hoops. I've taken the commercial classes. I've been with CoStar and Loop, and I've got multiple deals going. And the good thing is Brian and I are pairing together, so we are making a big push. Logan is full-time with me. We're reaching out. So let me just tell you, you go to the big places. They treat you a certain way. I'm doing the move out. So if you have a property that needs moved out, you need it cleaned out, you need help with that build out, you need somebody that's meeting contractors for you, that's helping you with the pricing, that can really be your partner in getting it done. I'm a property manager as well, as I can do it. But Brian is not just your guy that does VA FHA loans. He does private money, he does big deals. We've got this property at 1920 Maryland Parkway, right in the corner of St. Louis. Got it priced about $600,000. That's where that new light rails, they call it's going to grow right down the center. Quite a growing range. Let's say that area's got a lot of immigration, either attorneys or taxes. It's right in between the